Giants, they make a lot of extra money because of your management of their money.
That's right. I'm on TV, folks, does not mean you have to play. If you treat it like a business, less games or more money, I will make you money week in and week out.
Give Kevin a call, 888-320-7517. 888-320-7517. The 49ers eked out a victory in Seattle 17-13. Brock Purdy was impressive. I knew he threw a couple interceptions in this contest, but when the game was on the line, that final drive, he was accurate, didn't miss any passes, and ends up getting the game winner with a touchdown throw. He looked really good in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he looked good in the fourth quarter, but I don't know if San Fran won the game or Seattle lost that game.
Yeah, it's a game you would think that Seattle in the opener would need, playing at home. San Francisco's all banged up. But somehow the Niners able to find a way to win, and that somehow was because of the direction and the competitive spirit of Brock Purdy, who did a nice job on that final drive. He was the difference. Give him credit. He is a very accurate thrower. Doesn't have the scrambling ability of a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen, but he looked pretty good, certainly, in this game down the stretch. You have more than a pretty good offer for our listeners.
Yeah, that's right, folks. Listen, I have my differential system play, which I created, which is the recipe for success, and it's yours free. Give me a call right now at 888-320-7517. That's 888-320-7517. You get my differential system play absolutely free.
How about Indianapolis? The Colts clobbered Miami 33-8. Dolphins looked awful.
They are a disgrace in the NFL. They are the worst team. The coach for the Giants and the coach for the Dolphins are the two most hot seat coaches. One of them will be fired before the end of the season.
The good news here, the fun part of this Indianapolis game, was Daniel Jones, who was much maligned as the Giants quarterback. He accounts for 3 touchdowns. He was accurate, 22 of 29, 272 yards. He had the Dolphins off balance. Daniel Jones looked like an all-pro against Miami.
Isn't it funny how every Giant that leaves the Giant organization, Barkley and Daniels, now look like Super Bowl contenders?
Yeah, well, Barkley did win a Super Bowl last year in Philadelphia. We're going to talk about the Eagles matchup in a moment against Kansas City. But Daniel Jones, my goodness, he looked great in this one, performing very, very well. And you perform well every week.
That's right, folks. Give me a call right now. You get my differential system play absolutely free. 888-320-7517. In my opinion, this game is off by 3 to 7 points. 888-320-7517.
The Broncos over Tennessee. This was Cam Ward's debut, the number 1 draft pick for Tennessee. But the Broncos, who were really expected to do very well here, didn't look very good. Bo Nix, the quarterback, was really off target. This is a game where the Titans couldn't get anything done on third downs. They were only 2 of 14 on the third downs. These were two teams that were kind of struggling, weren't they?
Yeah, they was pretty much struggling in this matchup.
You won't struggle because, Kevin, I know you have a pure winner, a winner you know that is very strong for our listeners.
That's right, folks. Give me a call. I have my differential system play, which I developed for success, and it's yours free. This game's off by 3 to 7 points. Call 888-320-7517. That's 888-320-7517.
Monday night in Chicago, the Bears fell to the Vikings 27-24. Chicago's another team that let a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter slip away.
God, I thought this was the year the Bears turned it around. I guess I was wrong.
Caleb Williams feeling the heat. I mean, he started the game 10 for 10, the Bears quarterback, but they want him out in Chicago. They want the backup Badgett to come in.
I don't know what's going on. He missed a couple of guys down the stretch that were open that could have been the difference of the game.
Yeah, he gets a little rattled in the pocket. When he scrambles and he runs, he's terrific, but he's struggling. How about J.J. McCarthy? Sat out last year. He was injured. Comes back, first start in the NFL, leads a fourth quarter rally. He was accurate throwing it. He ran the ball well. His team, the Vikings, scored 21 points. That's the reason they won it. This McCarthy looked great down the stretch.
Yeah, he had a great second half, and give the kid credit. First start, Monday Night Football on the road. Didn't look too good the first half, but the second half was a different story.
And you'll make a different story for our listeners.
That's right. Give me a call right now at 888-320-7517. That's 888-320-7517. You get my differential system play absolutely free.
Kevin's number is 888-320-7517. He wants to make you a lot of money. 888-320-7517. Super Bowl rematch. Eagles in Kansas City. Eagles a slight favorite. Of course, the Chiefs lost to the Chargers in their opening game in Brazil. What do you think?
Wow, this is going to be a great football game to watch.
Yeah, it's a game you probably want to stay away from, though. Eagles, like I said, a very scant favorite there. They do get Jalen Carter back. We all know about the spitting incident the last game. Carter will play in this game.
Yeah, he's going to play.
And you can play with Kevin's offer.
That's right, folks. Give me a call right now. I have my differential system play absolutely free. That's 888-320-7517. I created the recipe to success and developed the system for this differential play. This game's off by 3 to 7 points, and it's yours free. 888-320-7517.
How about the Giants at the Cowboys? The Cowboys about a 5-point favorite here. Can New York find an offense against Dallas?
Wow, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I'm not impressed with them.
What about the Bills and the Jets? We've got to talk about your Jets here. They get to host the Bills. Bills about a touchdown favorite.
I mean, I wasn't impressed with the Bills' defense.
Yeah, the Jets, maybe they can move the football. We'll see what Justin Fields can do against Buffalo.
Give me a call right now at 888-320-7517. This game is yours free.
And I know you're abundantly confident this will produce a winner for our listeners.
That's right. Give me a call, 888-320-7517.
Give Kevin a call, 888-320-7517. Kevin will make you lots of money. Kevin, let's do this again next week. Always look forward to talking to Kevin Todd, the very best in the sports handicapping industry. Every week, he will make you a lot of money. For Kevin Todd and engineer Mike Parnell, I'm Randy Rosenblum. Until next time, may all your bets be winning ones against the spread.
This show has been pre-recorded and paid for by TBS Advertising, doing business as thesportsbrokers.com.
Hey, this is Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Tuesday with CDOT at 3:15, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. Welcome into Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey.
Joffrey Reynolds.
Who is Joffrey Reynolds?
Running back, Calgary Stampeders.
Be sure to follow Mac on Twitter at MacJMorey25.
4 touchdowns, drops a 40-burger on me.
This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's the man, the myth, the Mac.
That's right. On a Sunday morning, how you doing? 9 a.m. right here on 96.5 The Fan for Fantasy Football Sunday. Jacob Mustard on the keys. Mac Morey here with you for the next hour. Talking our favorite thing. Because most of you are going to be on the couch for the next 12 hours. Checking your fantasy football leagues. Texting your chat. Hopefully trash talking. We're going to be there. Maybe some of you are going to be at the first home Chiefs game today. Hopeful for a win. Did I pick against the Chiefs on Fesco and Dusty on Friday? Maybe. Do I believe that? Kind of. Do I want to not? Yes. Am I hopeful today? Yes. Do the Chiefs have the best quarterback in the game? Yes. Should you start him in fantasy football? Of course. Of course. Yes, Jacob, don't shake your head. Yes, you should. And I believe that. We're here today. For the next hour, we're going to talk all things fantasy football. The show brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, and Scenic Views. Make sure you're a part of the show on the J Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. That number is going to be crucial the last 20 minutes of the show because it is all you guys. Text in your start or sit questions, 913-586-7965. And we already got one, a tease for the last 20 minutes of the show and 30 or 40 minutes from the 913. Got to start 2 of the 3 Zay Flowers, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore. I'll do this one for now, and then we'll save the rest for the end of the show, just to tease for what the end of the show is. I'd go DJ Moore. We'll talk about the Bears, and I'd go Zay Flowers out of those two. 913. And that's the first one. Let's get going here on a Sunday morning. Week 2 is here, guys, and week 2 is deceiving in the NFL for us fantasy footballers, for us football bettors, because we think we know so much from one week, but we actually probably know less than we did before the season started. We forgot all of our preconceived notions. We forgot all the things we talked about for 3 or 4 months, because now we finally watched football. We saw 1 week of football, and now we think, okay, we know everything. The Lions, they're for sure bad. Caleb Williams, he sucks. Like, we can just know these things, right? And some of these things may be true, but we don't know. Some of these teams looked bad in week 1. Maybe the Broncos look great today. Maybe that offense looks awesome. Bo Nix gets it back going. Maybe the Bengals, right? We'll talk about the Bengals a lot. Week 2 for us in fantasy football, though, more than anything, is trying to read through that, 1. But 2, not only read through that for your team, but also for what you can do to make your team better. This is buy low, sell high season. Because of those preconceived notions, because of people knowing everything or thinking they do, now you can really exploit some of those people by selling high, buying low, and I think the Bengals could be a perfect example of that when speaking of buying low, because if they play bad again today and you're a Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow owner, if you have one in your league that's going to start getting antsy and anxious, man, those guys are going to be fine. I think today they'll even be fine, but if they struggle to execute and their quality of play is trash again, I mean, Joe Burrow have 2 passing yards in the second half of that game last week? Jeez. Jaguars defense looked pretty rough. We'll see what happens there. Travis Hunter's supposed to play more defense. Only 6 snaps last week. Expensive Wan'Dale Robinson looking like to me right now. That's what it looks like to me. I saw it on Twitter. I laughed so hard because I did call Travis Hunter the biggest bust. Well, I forgot the exact quote I said. He's one of the biggest busts in NFL history, I believe, was the exact quote I said on Fesco and Dusty live from 6 to 10 a.m. We'll be reacting to hopefully a Chiefs win tomorrow morning right here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football. From the 660 morning, Mac Daddy, tough loss for old Rocky Top. Go Vols. Yes, it was. That was a tough one. Let's get to some sleepers here. Thanks for the reminder, 660. We're moving on, okay? It was a great game. Josh Heupel deserves some L's. We can talk about that another day. Let's get to some sleepers here just on the waiver wire. I know most of you have probably talked about these things and fixed these things up. That's completely fine. If there's one of these guys still lingering on the waiver wire this morning, or if you're in a pinch, let's just talk about that. We'll roll through these pretty quickly, and then we're going to get to max matchups after the break, because I'm going to go through almost every matchup, and if I miss one that you want to talk about, please text in and we can talk about it, because I've got thoughts on a lot of these today, and I think I'm doing a lot of zagging today on some of these predictions. I think this is a week where you can zag pretty strongly and with a pretty good conscience and not feel too scared. For wide receivers, Kayshon Boutte, Cedric Tillman, Elike Amanor, that's one that may be on a lot of your waiver wires still. I told you guys about that before the season started. I mentioned his name last week. I'm getting the last name incorrect. I know I am, and I apologize to him. He's a good player for the Tennessee Titans. Starting for them in that slot position, well, kind of mixing up between the X and slot, him and Calvin Ridley, pretty interchangeable in that way. But this is a guy who got targeted last week, should have had a catch if Brian Callahan knew the rules of football and challenged the play. Yes, Brian Callahan, 1 elbow does equal 2 feet. He was in bounds. That was a catch. Fantastic catch for a rookie on his first game. And yes, it's not going to go in the stat sheet because his coach is a nincompoop. Elike Amanor for the Titans is a guy that's probably still there for a lot of you people. And if you feel shallow, if you feel lacking of depth in your wide receiver room, yeah, let's go for Elike Amanor. Josh Palmer, the Chiefs' defense looked pretty rough in week 1. We'll see what Josh Palmer does further than this. Calvin Austin, another guy that I don't know how confident I feel in actually Calvin Austin, and I don't know how confident I feel in the Steelers today. And we'll talk about that in max matchups later. I think the Steelers are another stay away today, but Calvin Austin is a guy who exceeded on some of those short throws and getting yards after the catch, was able to follow some of his blockers. Calvin Austin is a guy who maybe you could pick up there in Pittsburgh. For running backs, Tootin probably gone, Dylan Sampson probably gone, Tank Bigsby There's a chance he's there. And Trey Benson, there's definitely a chance he's there for the Arizona Cardinals. Rookie last season, didn't really do much of anything because he's got a steady guy in James Conner ahead of him. But they've already shown in week 1, they're giving Trey Benson some run. They're giving him some snaps. He's in the rotation. So that makes me think, okay, by week 5, week 6, week 7, Trey Benson's a real part of that offense. And in the desolate wasteland that we call tight ends in fantasy football, Harold Fannin Jr. for the Browns, probably gone in your waiver wires. But if he's not there, Brenton Strange is a guy for the Jaguars that I just think is going to be a good tight end. I'm confident in the Jaguars' offense this season from a fantasy perspective. Their defense gives me struggle, which makes me like their offense even more. I think they're going to have to throw the football a lot to stay in these games. I think that could be the case for the Bengals-Jaguars game today. Brenton Strange, second-year player for the Jacksonville Jaguars, solid athlete. And it looks like him and Trevor Lawrence have a good relationship. Think of Juwan Johnson, another guy who people probably grabbed instead of Brenton Strange. I think Strange is the guy to go for there. But again, the real thing with waiver wires in week 2 to me is knowing who to drop, right? There are guys who maybe you should drop now who you want to hold on to because it's fantasy football, because there's loyalty, because you think you're right, because we think we know everything, and that's fine. And it's your team, and you drafted these guys, and you want them to work out. But there are some guys like that you should drop and some guys that'll get dropped that you need to pick up, right? Like if someone dropped Trey Harris, right, for the Chargers, pick him up. Rookie wide receiver, only a couple of targets last week. It's a guy who's going to get used more and more in that Chargers offense. But a guy like Caleb Johnson for the Steelers, you should drop him. You should drop him. If you're an Iowa fan, I apologize. If you have some loyalties there, if you have some biases there, yes, I understand. One, I didn't like him before because any running back with Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career is just that's a stay away for me big time. But Caleb Johnson didn't even get touches. He was not a part of that offense. He dropped a pass in the preseason that was right in his hands that made me think, okay, Aaron Rodgers is never going to want to play with this guy. That seemed to be the case in week 1. I would go. I would drop Caleb Johnson. Matthew Golden. I started him these first 2 weeks, and I probably shouldn't have. But I'm not going to drop Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden's going to be a smash play in the mid to late seasons in fantasy football.
Especially with the injury that just happened
to Jaden Reed. Yes, to Jaden Reed, who's going to be out for the next few weeks. Is it the season?
Last I saw, it was about 8 weeks.
Okay.
6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So, yeah, month and a half, 2 months. Matthew Golden's going to, did you see the expected, what was the stat? What could have been fantasy points if it weren't for the miscues and the drops?
I think it was like 22
yes.
or something like that, but I know it was over like 140 yards and potentially 2 touchdowns.
I think it was 2 touchdowns, and yeah, it was over 100 yards for sure. It was triple-digit yards. It was over 2. They had an 80-yard touchdown in that game Thursday. You know, they just missed it. It was a yard too far. Maybe Golden slowed down, like whatever it is. It's a rookie. This is what we talk about. Rookie wide receivers, rookie players in general a lot of the time, but especially rookie wide receivers, they're going to pop off later on, right? You want to hold on to those guys. Don't drop your rookie wide receivers. So if you see him on the waiver wire, pick him up now. Don't drop Isaiah Pacheco, but I don't think you can play him this week, ? We'll talk about the Chiefs and the Eagles and Max matchups here coming up after the break. And make sure you're texting in all of your start-sit questions as we're writing those down and taking note of those. 913-586-7965 is the phone number on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be a tough one. Don't drop Dante Thornton for the Raiders quite yet. There are a couple guys who you shouldn't drop and some guys who you really do need to get rid of. 417, let him go, guys. Shedeur Sanders isn't going to pan out. Yep, we're talking about him. We're going to talk about a lot of things, though, on the other side of the break in Max matchups. Let's get to it. Let's take an early break because we've got a lot to get to in this next segment. If I know anything about this show, I know this next segment can go for a while because I like to talk about these matchups for a minute. If you've got a matchup that maybe I don't get to or I'm not going to talk about as long as you want or don't get the answer, that ask your question, please. Ask anything you want in the text line. We'll try and get to it. 913-586-7965. We're here with you for the next 45 minutes right here on 96.5 The Fan. You're listening to Fantasy Football Sundays on your home for Chiefs football.
You're listening to Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Make sure to follow 96.5 The Fan on Instagram for more fantasy football advice with Mac all season long. Your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99. And we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale. Now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Why is Macy's one-day sale the one sale you can't miss? For starters, you'll find our best prices of the month on fall's top trends, like $99.99 for trenches and barn jackets, diamond bracelets $249, and for cozy nights in, comfy sheets at $19.99 and under. Plus, it's Star Money bonus days, when Star Rewards members can earn Star Money faster. Not a member yet? Join for free online or in-store. Don't miss Macy's one-day sale today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Here we go. Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This is incredible.
Watch your local NFL game live all season long.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
It's time for Mac's Matchups.
You know, I haven't swiped right on 500 men.
This is Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
That's right. My favorite part of the show. I just love going through these matchups. I love finding little nuggets that we can exploit and get the most juice out of the squeeze, if you know what I'm saying. From the 913, anyone else think Garrett Wilson's going to cook against this porous Bills defense? Let's start there. It's a noon game. Why not? It's a great segue for us. 913-586-7965. The last 20 minutes of this program, Fantasy Football Sunday, I will be giving you I will be answering all of your text questions for who to start, who to sit, where do I go? I've got these 3 guys. I can only start 2 of them. What do I do? Text in all of those questions on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Okay, let's start Bills Jets. This is an upset alert. I know what happened last week. 41-40 was an electric game, one of the best football games I've watched, truthfully. And I don't think that's hyperbolic. I know it was week 1. That was an incredible game. You were down 15 with 3:50 to go. With that said, the Bills' defense looked bad. And the Bills' offense was struggling until that fourth quarter. They didn't look terrible. They really had their moments. But, I mean, it was a tip touchdown. There were a lot of crazy things that happened in that game. And the Jets have a good defense. And they have a really strong offensive line that's physical. Justin Fields was accurate. I was wrong about Fields last week specifically, but I've been right about him so far. Because I told you guys to draft him. I didn't think week 1 was his week because it was the Steelers and he just came from them and they knew all of his strengths. It didn't matter. I think, if anything, that makes me feel better than I already did about him. The fact that he was just able to get through that week 1. I'm playing against a defense that I just was with, that knows me, a head coach that can analyze all of my strengths, all of my weaknesses, and execute against them, and they weren't able to do so. Had weeks to prepare, and Justin Fields was better. I know they lost the game, but he was better than that defense, and that offensive line looked great. Armin Mimbu, wow, shout out. Shutting down TJ Watt. So I think the Jets are going to fare well in this game. I think Justin Fields is fantasy gold today and a lot of the season. Only 48 rushing yards last week, but 2 touchdowns, 12 carries too. A lot of those were designed, so they are using him. Breece Hall, another smash play. The arm looked solid for Justin Fields, as we talked about. The Bills' O-line's a little bit hurt, but I don't think that changes anything for me from a who to start on the Bills. I think Shakir's still like a solid flex. James Cook's a start. Keon Coleman, I think you probably have to start him if you have him. I think last week, and again, that touchdown that he had, that tip touchdown, like that was lucky, but he was in the right spot, and it was an athletic play, and it was good hands. It was great focus. A couple of his catches were really nice. Like, he was creating separation, even if it was against zone and they were hedging other ways. Like, he looked like a really good athlete, which is why they drafted him ahead of Xavier Worthy. And I don't think he's going to be better than X, but he started to show the part, at least, of why they wanted him on this team. And they need him. If they want to get to where they want to go, they need Keon Coleman to be a solid 1B, 1A with Shakir. They really do. And so I think you've probably got to start. Even though the Jets is a good defense, I would go with Keon Coleman. Let's go to another noon game, Giants-Cowboys. We've got neighbor problems right now. Russell Wilson, if you just look at the percentage chance of explosive plays right now, and it's at just 1 week, but the Giants are bottom 3, just based on their offensive line, their inability to run the football effectively, and Russell Wilson's inept play, just full-on ineptitude, just full-on, he's not a football player anymore. Russell Wilson, he would need, even with the ensemble of the Eagles around him, he would struggle. He would look mid at best. So we've got neighbor issues. 5 catches on 12 targets is rough, but the 12 targets is still there. Dallas defense is really injured. I don't know if Diggs is playing. I don't think Bland is playing. Deron Bland is not playing, I believe. So both their top corners are either hurt or not in the game. And as far as the Cowboys go, no huge changes there. Although Javonte Williams, last week I would have said, what are we doing here? This week, I think you definitely start him. The Giants have a good defensive line, don't get me wrong. But they have a good pass rush. We'll see if they can stop the run. But they have a very, very talented front four. Do you know they played, I think, I forget the exact stat. I think it was 11% of the snaps or something. Those 4, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, and their other one. I remember, I'm forgetting their 4th defensive lineman over there in the G-Men, but they played like it was something like 11% of the snaps together in week 1, and 3 of them together, it was like 20% of the snaps. Like that's malpractice. You have to get these guys on the field together. That's why you have them. But they still looked great. And I imagine that'll increase, right? That number will increase week in, week out. But we'll see how they are at stopping the run. Seahawks, Steelers. I'm out on DK again this game. I told you guys don't start DK last week. I was correct. I think that's the case this week. The Seahawks have a great, great, great defense. They can stop the run. They've got Tariq Woolen and company out there in the secondary. They destroyed Brock Purdy so bad he's going to be out for 4-6 weeks or whatever. He's got turf toe. His shoulder's hurt. The Seahawks are physical. So I'm not starting Rodgers. I'm not starting DK Metcalf. I'm not starting either of the running backs. I already told you I think you should drop Caleb Johnson. Calvin Austin's a possible waiver wire pickup and maybe like a flex start if you're desperate. But like other than that, I'm off the Steelers right now in fantasy. I know Aaron Rodgers had a good week last week, but if you look at that spray chart, if you look at where he was throwing, it was behind the line of scrimmage. It was getting the ball out quick. He already mentioned his back was tight going into week 1 or after week 1, I believe. Like, I don't know. We'll see. This is a Seahawks defense that he's going to get hit. And they're showing him right now. Like, he had some decent times getting out of the pocket. He looked mobile. And then there's Fields, who's just wow. He looked good. If Fields looks like that again this week, wow. All right, Rams Titans. Another upset alert. And I love the Rams. I think the Rams are Super Bowl contenders, but I think the Titans could win today. And this is one of those things, week one overreaction. I know, text line, which, by the way, 913-586-7965. Text in your start or sit questions here as we go through all of Mac's matchups here on Fantasy Football Sundays. 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football. The Chiefs play today at home. Oh, I'm excited about that. Let's go. Gonna be there. Gonna be on the sidelines. So if you spot me, let me know. Send me a picture of myself. It'll be funny. You can see what I'm wearing today on the YouTube, by the way. We're live on YouTube on the Fan 965, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. You can watch us there, listen to us on the app. No excuse not to be tuned in. Rams, Titans. Titans could win today again. They've got a big defensive front. They're mean with Big Jeff Simmons up there. I'm not starting Stafford today, personally. I'd start Ridley. I'd start Puka. I know the Ridley thing last week. That doesn't scare me. Cam Ward's going to throw to Ridley. There were a couple out of character drops for Calvin Ridley, right? It was week one. Ward's got kind of a weird release that I'm sure everyone's still getting used to. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Jags, Bengals. And then for the Titans there, yeah, we talked about Alec Manor. The Rams have a good defense. Other than Ridley and Puka, I mean, Adams is a possible start, but I'm kind of, this is a stay away. These are two solid defenses with offenses that struggled last week, and I don't foresee, like Kyron Williams, obviously, that's a start. You have to start him every week just as much as he gets the ball, but defensive front that could give him troubles as well. Jags, Bengals. I told you all about Travis Hunter, man. Could be a bust. Expensive Wan'Dale Robinson. I know they were inches away from that 60-yard touchdown, so it's easy for me to say that and laugh. I just want to be right. Let me have this. But if the Bengals suck again, I mentioned this in the first segment. This is a buy low opportunity. If the Bengals go out and Joe Burrow throws for 2 yards again in the second half, and Jamar Chase isn't getting open and he's frustrated, and T. Higgins has 2 catches or whatever it is, then it's time to hit up your Jamar Chase owner in your league and go, hey, what's up, bro? What's going on, dude? Man, you paid a lot for him. What if I give you all this and help you out? I know you used all those assets, that big draft pick on this one position. What if I give you a few guys and help you out? Fleece him. Fleece them. Who doesn't matter. Try and buy low on the Bengals. See if you can. If they suck today, I don't think they will. I think this could be a really high-scoring game. Because if you remember, people are like, yeah, the Jags, yeah, fine. They won last week against the Panthers. They didn't look that good. It was whatever. Like, it's week one. There were some miscues really close. Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas were inches multiple times.
And there was a weather delay, too. Same thing happened in the Eagles-Cowboys game. Both offenses were churning. Then you had the weather delay, and then everybody kind of sucked afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, it comes to a screeching halt because, how are you going to stay warm? How are you going to stay stretched? How are you going to stay ready for, that delay was like 2 hours.
And it happened before halftime, so they came back.
Yes.
And then went for another break.
Finished the first half, then broke again. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, let's forget halftime at that point. Come on, let's get this going. No, that was the joke the rest of the day that my friend was making on that Sunday. It was just like, Jags still playing? It's like 6 p.m. Jags still on? You know what I mean? That was the joke of that day. But, yeah, this could be a high-scoring game. So I still think Travis Hunter, if you need to start him, you can. I would go the opposite way. Brian Thomas, smash start. And Travis Etienne, more of a smash start than he was, right? That was a whole question mark before the season started, and it looks like he's going to be the sole owner of that backfield until Tootin makes a name for himself, which we mentioned him in the waiver wires as well. Bayshell Tootin could be a guy in your waiver wires still who could make some noise if Etienne starts to look like he has in a couple of years past, right? Which is making mistakes, untimely fumbles, things like that, right? So from the 816, week 2 survivor pick, Mac, I can't use the Broncos. Whew, got them last week in a close one there against the Titans. They eked that out for you, I guess. Survivor pick, I forgot who mine is this week. But it might be the Broncos, honestly, because I didn't use them last week. I can't remember.
Personally, I went Bills.
You went Bills this week on your Survivor?
Yeah, I went Cardinals week 1, squeaked that one out, and then I went Bills. Another good option is Ravens. It's a
good
division
one.
Game, but still,
it's going to be close though, dude. Oh, those games are so close. Let's see. Who's my survivor? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I did Broncos this week. Yeah, so that I cannot. So that's tough for 816. I'm sorry. Can't use Broncos. That's literally who I picked this week. That's so funny. Yeah, wait. Who'd you say you went week 1, Mustard?
I went Cardinals
I
week
did too.
1.
I went Cardinals week 1. Yep. So we're thinking the same there. So, yeah, follow Mustard's lead on that, right? Like, Ravens is a scary one to me, but I like the Bills, even though that's kind of a scary one too. But I think one of those two teams is winning today. Probably both of them.
Yeah, it kind of comes down to, do you trust Josh Allen or Justin Fields?
Mm-hmm.
Do you trust Lamar Jackson or Joe Flacco?
Yep.
Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to pick the better quarterback.
If you've got massive cojones for your survival, you could pick the Saints at home. It's against Mac Jones. Super injured Niners team. No George Kittle.
Yeah, but you got the threat of Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne back together.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. The legendary duo. The long talked about duo of, I forgot. My fault. Who is it again? Who are these guys? Yeah, never heard of them. All right, let's continue on here with some max matchups. If we just want to restart that bed, we'll continue on. Getting some good stuff on the text line here for max matchups. Love all of those questions. We're going to get to those. 816, I see yours about Travis Hunter and Jalen Warren. We'll talk about all those here coming up during the start-sit text segment. So make sure you are a part of that on the text line, 913-586-7965. We've got about 30 minutes left here on Fantasy Football Sundays. Brought to you by Twin Peaks, Eats, Drinks, and Scenic Views. Pat's Dolphins, another guy, buy low, Tyreek, right? He's going to get traded at some point, I think. I know Adam Schefter tweeted yesterday that there's no traction. They haven't been received any calls. Not that they're not taking any, but they haven't received any, which is telling. People don't want to deal with the off-the-field bullcrap, which I admire. I'm glad the Chiefs aren't, and I don't think they should. I know that was a big thing for the first week of the season after the loss, and I think some people still want that to happen. I'm anti-bringing Tyreek back on this team, even though I know why people desire that, right? Hopefully the offense can show us a little bit why they're going to be okay today, but we'll see. It's going to be a tough day. Tough matchup, at least. So may buy low on Tyreek today against after the Patriots game, because we'll see what happens, but I don't foresee happy things for the Miami Dolphins. No Christian Gonzalez again in week 2 for the New England Patriots, for your New England Patriots, Jacob Mustard. So I think Tyreek could still have a better day. I think you have to start him. Travion Henderson owners, here's what I'll say about the Patriots and Travion Henderson. I said it before the season, and I'll say it again now. Be patient. This is going to take time. For whatever reason, you're giving Ramondre Stevenson, the Patriots, that is, are giving Ramondre Stevenson the number 1 back carries, and they're going to do so for the first month of the season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so, and it's hard because I have Stevenson on my bench, and I'm like, I want to drop him, but I know he's the running back 1 right now, and will be for the next couple weeks. So I'm trying to add him into a trade or something, just give him away. But yeah, it's just going to be patient on players like R.J. Harvey and Travion Henderson. We knew they weren't going to be the lead backs coming into their role, but they will be eventually.
No, exactly. Be patient on these rookies, right? Sometimes it's wide receivers. A lot of the time, in my opinion, it's the wideouts. Running backs, sometimes you don't have to wait. Like Omarion Hampton and Ashton Jeanty, you're not waiting on those guys. Those are week 1. You're starting them every week. They're going to, even though neither of them were great in their week 1 performances. Omarion Hampton, honestly, looked really good. He just didn't get the usage. Jeanty was like 2 yards a carry, but that was the thing that I feared with the Raiders and Jeanty, that offensive line.
Did you see the stat, though? I think he had, what was it, like 33 yards rushing, and he had 44 yards after contact.
Like, dude, yeah, that's so impressive. That's amazing. But when I'm talking about fantasy football, that sucks. Like, I don't want to hear that. I want him to have an offensive line so he can get 3 yards up the field and then truck people. We know what he can do with momentum. With forward momentum, he's unstoppable. He's 5'9" and he's 240 pounds. He's low to the ground. He's fast. He's quick. Love Ashton Jeanty. But as far as Travion Henderson goes, I think it's a flex option right now. But he's not that RB1 or RB2 slot yet. But again, be patient. If that's a guy you can buy low on, do that, right? If someone is really getting ticked off after this week, right? If there's another slow week for Travion Henderson and he still only has 10, 11, 12 touches, maybe that's someone you can talk to in your league. 49ers Saints. Other than McCaffrey and Kamara, I'm out on the Niners, and everyone else. Olave's a spot start for you as a flex, maybe wide receiver 2. I'm not confident in Pearsall right now with Mac Jones. I'm just not. I'm not. I know what you mentioned. Kendrick Bourne. Is that who you mentioned, Mustard? Yeah, Kendrick Bourne, like that's a guy if you're in extended leagues, 12-man leagues, big rosters, dynasties.
32-man leagues.
32-man leagues. Yes, 32-man leagues. Legitimately, yeah. I mean, I'm in a 20-man. Like, I need to actually double-check some stuff on that. But as I pull up that app. Yeah, so Kendrick Bourne, a guy that you could maybe go, okay, he has the chemistry. Mac Jones is going to look to him because he doesn't know any of these other guys. Hot take, Mac Jones maybe doesn't look totally terrible because it's Kyle Shanahan, and this is what guys like Kyle Shanahan do. Like,
and he has Christian McCaffrey in the backfield.
And he's going to have a dump-off option for McCaffrey. So, but again, not reliable enough for me to go, okay, I'm starting Ricky Pearsall today. I just can't do that right now. And maybe I'll eat crow on that. We'll see. Browns, Ravens. Zay Flowers is interesting to me. I think he'll have a lot of catches. I just don't think he's getting like in the end zone today. I wouldn't bet on that. This is going to be a low-scoring game. I've got the history pulled up, I think. Or I did. I can get it pulled up. Because if you look at these matchups, man, it's crazy how low scoring, how close these are. These are ugly, gross games, and they shouldn't be, but they just are. The last time they played, it was a blowout. And you'll have a blowout every 3 or 4 matchups. The Ravens will do what they're supposed to do. But then the other 3, it's 29-24. It's 31-33. The Browns win. It's 20-23. Like, these are the matchups in the last few years. It's 22-24. It's 10-16. And then there's a 38-6, a 47-42 in 2020. These matchups, 24-26 back in 2018. There's just once a year, 9-12 in 2018. Those are the 2 matchups in 2018. These are just usually, you're probably good for 50 or 60% of the time just betting on this being a gross, low scoring, less than 25 points each game. And it's just going to be fumbles and mistakes, things that shouldn't happening, terrible coaching decisions. Everything logical about the game of football gets thrown out the door in these AFC North matchups, especially when the Browns are involved in one of them. So this is a game where, again, you can start Zay Flowers if you have to. I'm not saying that. I just don't think he maybe has an explosion day. And who knows? Again, that's one where you could go the opposite route and say, no, I think it's going to be great because they were so bad last week. A couple more here before we get to your starter sit questions on the other side of the break here on 96.5 The Fan. Eagles, Chiefs. I personally, I'm not a Pacheco owner in fantasy football leagues right now. If I was, I would not play him today. I don't think I can. I was hot on him to start the season. That was such a rough showing, dude. Like, I think his top speed's back, but that's the thing. Like, with Pacheco, he's not a guy has great acceleration. He doesn't have good vision. He has his eyes down in the ground while he's running the football. He's just... There are just things about Isaiah Pacheco that are just a little icky right now, and I need to see it to believe it, especially against a defense like this. Obviously, the same goes for Kareem Hunt. I'm starting Hollywood Brown. Even versus this defense, he's a flex, but I'm starting him. He's going to get targets. He's going to get targets if you're desperate for wide receivers in a deep league again. Tyquan Thornton, there's a good chance he gets a deep ball today. Tyquan Thornton's stat line very likely could be 2 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. Right?
Yeah, and a little teaser for the next segment. What about Juju Smith-Schuster? What are you doing with him?
Yeah, I did see that text. Juju Smith-Schuster. Great tease here. Juju's a tough one. Juju's one that, again, I think if you're in a 10-man, I think you probably have other options. But if you're in a 12-man or more, yeah, I think you start him. I think it's going to be Brown and Juju and Travis as far as quantity of catches. And I think Thornton's going to be a boom or bust guy. I think Tyquan Thornton is Rashid Shaheed today, to me. That's Tyquan Thornton. Juju Smith-Schuster, though, that's a guy who, could have 5 targets, 4 catches for 60 yards. It's a solid flex day. Maybe, and you hope he gets in the end zone. Like, you hope one of those catches is a touchdown. You're kind of banking on that. So I think it's a risk. I don't love it, but I think Mahomes is going to have a good day today. Mahomes is going to be Superman again. I know that. I would put money on Mahomes killing it today, legitimately. And go to DraftKings and you can look at it. Don't be scared of A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith on the Eagles side. I know last week was weird. We'll see what they do today. I think the run defense at the Kansas City is still going to be solid enough where they can't just fully go Saquon, and hopefully Spags and that defense watched last week's tape against the Cowboys where Jalen Hurts is just running against man coverage because no one's looking at him. Hopefully they've got a spy on him. Leah Chanel's eyeing him and can get over to him. So don't be scared of those guys. I think they're going to have to throw more. I think that's probably the Chiefs' plan is to kind of make Hurts use his arm as much as they can. Noah Gray's a sleeper if you need a tight end with Xavier out as well. And then Sunday Night Football, Falcons, Vikings, Drake London and Mooney, I think are good to go. They both struggling with injuries. I think Mooney was out last week. Drake London is going to play. Drake London's just so tough. Vikings defense, we know how great they are. Brian Flores, one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. Like, he should be a head coach. But they were exploitable last week. They had misses last week. Caleb Williams had guys open, missed them a couple of times, and he was 10 for 10 to start the game. They were able to run the ball a few times with DeAndre Swift. Like, the Vikings looked beatable. Guys were open. Penix had 6 rushing attempts, which is great for fantasy owners. And dude, Jefferson and Hawkinson, no surprise, those are the guys. 35 and 20% target share last week for Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. If you've got a matchup question about one of those that I missed, Bears, Lions, Bucks, Texans, whatever it is, I know we've got a division matchup, AFC West, Chargers, Raiders, starting at 9 p.m. on Monday night. Gosh, that's so stupid. I can answer questions on those as well, because coming up, it is start or sit. This is all about you. Flood the text line right now. Flood the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line right now. 913-586-7965 for all of your text questions right here on Fantasy Football Sunday. Jacob Mustard, Mac Morey here with you for another 20 minutes. You can watch, listen, wherever on the Odyssey app, on YouTube, wherever you want. Stay locked in for the next 20 minutes. Start or sit right here on Fantasy Football Sunday. 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
You're listening to Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Make sure to follow 96.5 The Fan on Instagram for more fantasy football advice with Mac all season long. Your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Up to $100 in bonus rewards available at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer you will not want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season is finally here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Kansas. First, online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Why is Macy's one-day sale the one sale you can't miss? For starters, you'll find our best prices of the month on fall's top trends, like $99.99 for trenches and barn jackets, diamond bracelets $249, and for cozy nights in, comfy sheets at $19.99 and under. Plus, it's Star Money bonus days, when Star Rewards members can earn Star Money faster. Not a member yet? Join for free online or in-store. Don't miss Macy's one-day sale today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs. from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Start or sit.
Yes. Here we are, back on Fantasy Football Sunday, and it's time to answer all of your questions. Please send them in, 913-586-7965, and I will be answering all of them, okay? Or as many as I can, okay? As many as I can, because there are a lot of you, and I want to get to as many as I can. So let's start right off the top. Got Jamison, Drake, and Hollywood. Start 2. What's your opinion? I think Hollywood's a good start today. I know the Eagles' defense, and I think you've got the Falcons playing tonight against the Vikings, and we talked about that matchup. I think Michael Penix and Drake London might just be one of those duos where we kind of have to start them unless told otherwise. Jameson Williams is such a boomer bust guy. He is playing the Bears today, so there could be a lot of boom. Honestly, ceiling-wise, I think you got to go Jameson over Hollywood. I think Drake's the guy we start today. Drake's the one I'm going, yes, I'm starting Drake London, and then you're kind of deciding between Jameson Williams and Hollywood Brown. I think I would go Jameson Williams for the ceiling. But if you're in a PPR, I think Hollywood could have 7 catches. So I don't know. That's a tough one. But I think Jameson and Drake. Brenton Strange or Drake Ferguson. Why not? Let's go Brenton Strange. I like that. I like a high-scoring game today. Travion Henderson or Devontae Smith in the flex. Devontae Smith. Be patient with Travion Henderson. That'll be an easy answer in 3 or 4 weeks. That'll be one that I'm not even thinking about. But right now, Devontae Smith. Caleb Williams or Justin Fields. Super flex. Second QB. Sidebar. Super flex is the way to go, guys. We want 2 QB leagues. You want that. Caleb Williams or Justin Fields? Let's do Justin Fields for sure. Start 2, DK, Emeka Egbuka, Zay Flowers, Omarion Hampton. Oh, my gosh. Out on DK this week. Emeka Egbuka, who did the Bucs got? We talked about that, right? We didn't get to talk about that game. But, yeah, they played the Texans. A really good defense. But Egbuka was so good last week. He did catch 2 touchdowns. So that's volatile, right? You can't bank on things like that. I'm going to start Hampton. I'm going to start Hampton and Zay Flowers. If you want ceiling, go Emeka Egbuka. I don't feel great about it, though, Texter. I benched Ted McMillan for ETN. Good call. Yeah, I like that. ETN could have had way more points than he had last week. He got targeted a lot. I don't mind that at all this week for Panthers-Cardinals. I think that could be a good game as well. Is Diggs for New England going to do anything today? Start or sit? Mustard, what do you think about your Patriots?
No, I mean, it's a hard matchup because, we got a new coach, but Tua is still 8-0 against the Patriots, and
this is a bad secondary for Diggs. Like, Diggs should be able to dice up this secondary.
He should be. I'm higher on Kayshon Boutte than I am on Diggs just because Diggs is still coming off of that ACL tear. It's hit or miss. If you're in PPR, I think he gets enough targets to make up his volume.
There we go. Houston kicker and Eagles kicker. Who plays? I don't know. I don't know, man. You'll have to look it up, bro. I don't know.
Go weather and dome.
Yeah, I was about to say weather and dome is really all I can say to you. Look at the conditions. Look at field conditions. Hollywood or Travis Hunter in my flex. Hollywood. Travis Hunter or Jalen Warren flex spot. Travis Hunter. Diggs and Ridley are on my bench. Should any of these 3 over Tyreek or Neighbors? So let's talk about this on a wider perspective. Diggs and Ridley are guys in PPR leagues that I really like. I think they're going to get a lot of targets. I know last week was weird for the Patriots offense. Drake May didn't impress for me. I think that's going to change. They're going to get back. As Mustard explained, this is a new coach. They're going to figure that out. Same thing goes for Ridley, right? Newer offense, new quarterback. Ridley is the guy. Should any of those 3 start over Tyreek or Neighbors? I only have 2. So I think for just in general, I really like Diggs and Ridley this week and in the future. I think these are guys that you can count on in your flex or wide receiver 2 spots. I think you could start either of those over Tyreek or Malik Neighbors, Texter. I really could. I'm not confident in either Tyreek or Malik Neighbors today. I don't know about you, Mustard, but I can't trust what I'm seeing right now. I would start Tyreek Hill today. I'll say that. No Christian Gonzalez makes me want you to start Tyreek Hill today. But I'm not starting Malik Neighbors today, I don't think. I don't know, man. I like Diggs and Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ridley as well. Out of all of them, though, it's week 2. You drafted Neighbors either at the end of the first or like 7th or.
It's true. It's a great point.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those where you just if it's full PPR, I just lean on Tyreek and Neighbors and then give it another week.
You're right. Sometimes Mustard has to talk me down. I love it. Flex option, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Jacoby Myers. Let's go Marvin Harrison. Michael Pittman or Devontae Smith from a wide receiver 2 today. I'm kind of high on Devontae Smith, but I do like Michael Pittman. I talked about him a little bit today. Or actually, no, I'm so sorry. I don't like Michael Pittman really today. I talked about him last week. Michael Pittman's a stay away. Yes, definitely. Don't do that. Devontae Smith. Hill or Flowers? Hill. Bowers, Kyle Pitts. Gamble on Bowers and pick a back up. Fan is also on waivers.
I think they mean the
like drop.
The backup Michael Mayer.
Oh. Okay, Michael Mayer. Well, first off, yeah, Harold Fanning is great. I would get him, and I would still start Kyle Pitts today. I'm starting Hollywood over DJ Moore in a 12-man double flex league. Don't feel great about it, but I feel like I have to. I think you should feel fine about that today. I get where you're coming from because kind of alluding to what Mustard said, to what you drafted a guy at. And I think a lot of the time in a week 2, it's such a good lesson. You do kind of have to go with, I drafted this guy in the first or second round. I used these assets. I paid $40 for him or whatever it is, right? It's only week 2. I can't just ditch because then you're going to be pissed. And I think Mustard made a great point because then you're going to be mad, like for that Hill and Neighbors guy. If Hill or Neighbors and you sit one of those guys and Neighbors has 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown, you're going to be, what would I do? Malik Neighbors against the Cowboys defense without Trayvon Diggs or Bland there? I think you're right. I think I was talking nonsense. I was wrong on that. You've got to stick to your loins today. But again, not at a fault. Not at a fault. If a situation presents itself, Hollywood Brown's not the Hollywood Brown that he was 2 weeks ago. Xavier Worthy's out. Right? He just had 9 catches for 100 yards. We didn't know that was going to be a thing. So context does matter for one like this, but I think if you're talking Tyreek and Neighbors and things like that, I think you got to stick with your gut. Quentin Johnson or Stephon Diggs, 0.5 PPR. This is the stuff, right? These are the questions because Quentin Johnston looked like Randy Moss against the Chiefs last week. And the Raiders don't have a good defense. They could pass the ball more again. So that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Stephon Diggs. Kind of gonna go with Stephon Diggs on that one. But I wouldn't be mad if you went with Quentin Johnston. Hunter Harvey or Calvin Austin in the flex. Eesh. Calvin Austin. But what I mean. Yeah, go Calvin Austin. DJ Moore or Hollywood. I mean, we just talked about this one. I think I'm going Hollywood Brown today. I think this is the last. I think Caleb Williams is going to spread it out a lot. And he missed DJ Moore a couple of times last week. I'm not going completely away from DJ Moore. I just think Hollywood Brown could have 7 or 8 catches today. And I don't know if that's the case for DJ Moore. What do you think about this, Mustard? We've had this question now 2 or 3 times specifically.
Well, so my only concern with DJ Moore is how many options and how often Ben Johnson likes to spread the ball around.
Spread it out, man.
Like Amon-Ra St. Brown on the Lions back with Ben Johnson was great because him and Goff had a good connection.
Williams, they don't have that yet.
I don't think so. And DJ Moore is a great receiver. He's not Amon-Ra St. Brown level where he's going to demand 12 targets a game in this style of offense.
Nope. Not with Caleb Williams yet. Not yet.
It's definitely a tough choice.
And I think Hollywood Brown could today. He could demand those sorts of targets. We saw it last week, 9 for 100. He had a couple drops. It could have been 11 for 120 or something, right? He's going to be used a lot today. So I think it comes down to specifically that. And, like, for the Bears, too, like you mentioned the mouths to feed, but DeAndre Swift, dude, like, that's the guy that they're feeding. They're running the ball to him. They're dumping it off to him. He is the guy. Like, Monangai got some usage there, too, which I thought Kyle Monangai looked good in the backfield, but they're going to that backfield a lot. So that's kind of why I'm leaning Hollywood Brown. Few more minutes here, so make sure you use them to text in your questions. 913-586-7965 is the J Southland Tow Service text line phone number. And make sure you stay locked into 96.5 The Fan because we've got Jay Binkley coming up with After Hours for the next 2 hours. Then we've got Josh Briscoe for 3 hours on Chiefs pregame show right here on 96.5 The Fan, which leads in to our guys, Josh Klingler over there on the sidelines, Dana Hughes and Mitch Holtis in the booth for the first time this season in Arrowhead Stadium. It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. Mayfield or Fields, Standard League. I'm going Fields because of the legs. Pacheco or Chubb? Nick Chubb. Dude, I'm just off on Pacheco right now. Start Herbert or Mahomes. Pittman or Judy. Xavier Legette, Ramondre Stevenson in a flex spot. Man, this is an ugly one. I think you got to go Ramondre Stevenson for right now. I think for right now you do because he's in the running back one spot. He's going to get the usage.
And he's going to get the goal line touches.
Yeah, he's going to get the goal line touches. There's a very likely shot he gets a touchdown. He gets pay dirt. That's not happening the other way around. George Pickens or Devontae Adams. This is a good one. I'm going to go Adams for floor reasons because I think he's going to get those targets. He got them last week. He had 2 or 3 drops. He was out of sorts to start that game. I was going, what the hell is going on? And then he got going. He's Devontae Adams. What he does well, and we talked about this before the season, what he does well doesn't rely on athleticism or speed or burst. Yes, he still has some of those things, but his route running, his ability to know where he's at and his body's at, his balance, sideline awareness, and his just straight up glue for hands. So I'm going Adams. Struggling to play Hurts over Knicks this week.
I wouldn't struggle.
I wouldn't struggle with that. I wouldn't struggle with that at all. Don't struggle with that. Play Jalen Hurts, please. I'm telling you, do that. He's going to score again today. That's not even like talking crap on the Chiefs defense. It's just Jalen Hurts. Like you can bet on him to score a touchdown every week, and you'll be right 12 times, maybe 13 or 14, right? So I think you've got to do that. Pollard or McMillan in the flex. I'm going Pollard. Again, similar to the last one because of the goal line touches from the 816. Connor or Buka and the flex. I go at Buka for the ceiling, but that's a tough one too, right? James Conner's so reliable. For some reason though, I don't want to miss on Buka again. That's a tough one. You could flip a coin on that one. Happy PR Superflex, Judy or DJ Moore, Caleb Williams or Bryce Young. Go DJ Moore over Judy, and if you're playing together, you might as well stack. If that's the same league, 7-8-5, stack that, right? Fun hour. It goes so quick. Time flies when you're having fun. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you watch us. You listen to us on the Odyssey app. And again, you can watch us each week, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all those things. After Hours is coming up with Jay Binkley. After that, it's the Chiefs pregame show because the Kansas City Chiefs play today at 3:25. You can tune in to Mitch Holtis, Dana Hughes, Josh Klingler, all those guys for the whole game right here on 96.5 The Fan. It's your home for Chiefs football. It's your home for fantasy football Sundays with Jacob Mustard and myself, Mac Morey. Make sure you go follow me. Follow me on Twitter, MacJMorey25 on the X Machine. Love you guys. See you later.
You're listening to Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Make sure to follow 96.5 The Fan on Instagram for more fantasy football advice with Mac all season long. Your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing,